Welcome to another edition of DX Engineering Videos. We're here today in Tallmadge, Ohio, the headquarters of DX Engineering, and we have a special guest who's joining us, Joel Harrison, W5ZN. Welcome, Joel.
Thank you, Tim. It's great to be here.
It's really intriguing to, I guess you have some local business here and you're able to stop over and say hello. And, you know, we've done some interviews with you in the past, and one of the things, though, you've been doing some exciting things on 6 meters with some of these digital modes. And so maybe you can bring us all up to date on what's going on.
I can do that. I'll try. It's really moving so fast, it's difficult for a lot of us that are involved in it to stay up to date with it. You know, years ago, if we wanted to do meteor scatter work on 6 meters, it was on voice, and you went back and forth, and sometimes it was difficult, you know, to complete a queue. Then when Joe Taylor came out with his JT modes, the WSJT original software suite was really great because it provided an opportunity for us to do high-speed meteor scatter work. But that has evolved now and progressed to where for example, we're here on, what is this, June the 12th, 13th, 14th. We just had the June VHF contest this past weekend, and it was unbelievable, the use of the digital modes on 6 meters. Not just the new MSK 144 digital mode, which has 15-second sequences for meteor scatter, but also JT65. The frequencies around 14,260 to 14,280 were just loaded with stations around the clock on digital modes. It was just unbelievable for me.
So there's quite a transition. I spent the weekend at Hamcom in Dallas, and I ran into our good friend Coy, N5OK.
Right. Yeah.
And Coy says, oh yeah, earlier in the week, this was last week, he says, I worked a whole page of JAs. And I said, wow, that's great, Coy. I said, did you work them on sideband or CW? He said, JT65.
Yeah. And it's, you know, what was really impressed me was my ability sitting there at my station in Arkansas and working stations out on the West Coast and even some DX stations in the middle of the day, which we normally don't have that propagation until later on in the afternoon. So it's just really amazing.
So, you know, the underpinnings of JT65, you know, and we'll stay on that for the time being, is that you can do things with JT65 that you just can't do with CW and SSB when it comes to the amount of power, the amount of propagation that is needed. And so we're going down a couple more layers.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, just to give you an example, I didn't even, for my JT65 contacts, I didn't even run the amplifier. I was running a base 100-watt radio, and a lot of times just a single Yagi antenna to complete the contact. So it's for folks who don't have a big station. Maybe you just have a dipole in the attic in a restricted area. It opens up a world of possibilities for you on 6 meters.
So, and now tell us about this MSK 144 and what's going on there.
Well, it's an updated version of the WSJT meteor scatter program. It offers another layer of weak signal detection, but it also provides 15-second sequences, which was originally in the old days of meteor scatter work with single sideband, was the sequence that we used. But it allows you to make contacts faster. So if you're in a contest environment, like we were this weekend, that allows you to complete contacts quicker. And it also has some auto sequencing features with it, where you don't have to sit there and manually switch across the sequences. It will auto sequence. So once it detects that the other station has received your information, it will auto sequence to your acknowledgement of that.
Wow. Now, Joel, you and I are old school guys.
Yeah.
Now, in a lot of these QSOs, you can't hear a thing.
You can't, and it's just impressive to me to be able to do that with the technology. And it just shows that someone like Joe Taylor, who has spent his life and his career as a Nobel laureate in space communications, to be able to bring some of that knowledge and apply it to amateur radio. And of course, Joe's an old school guy as well. Joe got started in amateur radio, and he knows the old school ways, and he brought this to us. And it's unbelievable that we have technology today that can go down in the noise a layer or two and be able to receive signals that we can't hear with our ear.
Well, this is certainly a game changer, and it doesn't show any sign of slowing down.
You know, what I love about it, Tim, is the increase in activity on the VHF bands over the past 5-6 years is unbelievable for EME communications on 2 meters, which I have been doing way back from the old days in the late 80s, early 90s on CW to what we have today. The number of stations on across the world is unbelievable, and contacts can be made with single Yagis now in a couple of 100 watts. It's just really great for activity. It has generated more interest among new radio amateurs to get on and try some of these things, and it's great for us. It's great for amateur radio.
Yes, yeah. Well, it is exciting, and I'm sure we're just getting started, like a lot of these things. Well, Joel, thanks very much for coming in today
It's great
and
to be
talking
here.
to us, and thanks to all of you for watching another edition of DX Engineering Videos.